Court Reporter with Stovall and Associates.
Hello and welcome back to Court Reporter. I'm here with Sheila, Winn, running for Nye County Clerk. Right before we went to break, I was telling you, I don't know, but I assume that the counting of the ballots and everything has a special process, but I know we get that question a lot. How do they know that they didn't cheat? So you were telling me before we went on break about these special machines that they use.
The machines are, like I said, they're statewide, okay? They are mandated by a company called Sequoia.
Okay.
Sequoia comes in and verifies the authenticity and the validity of the machine before we ever start the voting process. Many times, what happens is people will think that there was a miscount or something of that nature because when they touch that touch screen, something didn't light up the way it was supposed to.
Okay.
So that causes a lot of concern in our voters. The thing you got to remember is it is a touch screen. It gets dirty. And if it gets dirty, you're not going to make the connection on that screen. So oftentimes it's just a matter of touching the screen again and again to get it to where it needs
to be.
Or ask for one of the workers to just clean the screen for you even before you cast that ballot.
Right.
Okay, you get several options to hit that cast ballot.
Oh, you do? Okay.
At the end of it, you can review, you can cancel, you can start all over if you choose to. The biggest thing is if you have one question at all about how that ballot came out, bring it to someone's attention. It is still an element of human error when it comes to the ballots. Now, as far as counting, there's a chip inside each one of those machines, okay? And there's also a paper roll. The paper roll keeps track of our paper count. It puts a number beside it, which is the serial number of the machine, so you know which machine it was voted on. There are absolutely no identifiers on it to show that you were the one that voted, just that it was voted and it was that machine and this is how you voted.
Okay.
At the end of the evening, those cartridges are pulled after those machines are shut off. So the polls are actually closed at that point.
Gotcha.
That seals the paper roll and the paper trail, and then those cartridges are transferred to either county facility and they're placed in an actual reader. That reader takes the count off of it and it puts it into your system. There's absolutely no place for a human being to go in and change those counts.
That's wonderful, yeah. So now, has there been a discrepancy between the paper roll and the chip?
Not that I'm aware of. Yeah. No, not that I'm aware of.
I imagine it's got to be pretty...
They're pretty consistent. If you remember a couple of years ago, they were questioned. Miss Merlino was questioned.
I barely remember that, yeah.
And that group went to Tonopah and were allowed to review those paper rolls. And if you remember as well, Miss Nancy Lord came out and apologized to the clerk's office, indicating that they could find no room for error. So it was, it's pretty foolproof.
Right.
Minus that touchscreen problem, and that sends a lot of people, especially the elderly, into concern.
Which we have a lot of in our community. So.
Correct.
Yeah, that's interesting. Hopefully that answers it for those viewers out there. It definitely did for me. Now, as a clerk, do you have to deal with the DA at all, Mr. Coonsey?
We do. Mr. Coonsey is the one that generally files any charges. When you first are arrested or accused or whatever you want to call it, the charges are not actually filed until the DA's office has reviewed that report from the sheriff's office, all the evidence entailed, and then the DA's office is the one that decides whether or not charges will be pursued. When they are, that's when they would be filed first with the Justice Court.
Okay.
After the Justice Court, they would come to our court in the District Court.
The District Court. And for those viewers out there that don't know, can you explain the difference between Justice Court and District Court? Justice
Court is more of a small claims court.
Okay.
Anything civil under the cost of $5,000 would be filed in Justice Court. All criminal things start there.
Okay.
All traffic starts there. So if you have a traffic ticket, it's going to be there. Any charges whatsoever will generate from the Justice Court. District Court does all civil proceedings above and beyond. Family, probate, juvenile. Oh goodness, there's so many different realms of court that we would handle. And anything that's a gross misdemeanor or above would be handled at the district court level.
Okay. Interesting. Now, I know the DA has to work with the Sheriff's Department a lot, but you don't really have to, correct?
No, we don't really work with them a lot. We have had to assist them from time to time with some old reports or information when they're doing a new investigation.
Okay.
But rarely do we have to deal with them one-on-one.
One-on-one. How about judges? Who do you work with up there as far as judges go?
Well, for the last 10 years, I had the wonderful benefit of working with the late John Davis. He was a wonderful judge. He was from Tonopah.
Okay.
I've worked with Judge Robert Lane, who is also an adamant, wonderful, kind man. And I've worked with Judge Kimberly Wonker. Now, she's just recent. I did get to know her, and I think she's extremely intelligent and good at what she does. I just don't know her as well as I did the other two.
Yeah, I don't know her real well. I know Judge Lane pretty well,
Yes.
you know, from different events of the chamber and whatnot. And I know Wonker's definitely getting more and more involved. Now, are they both rerunning, do you know?
Judge Lane is running, and he is currently being opposed by Lillian Donahue.
Okay.
Judge Wonker did put in to run, but nobody opposed her, so she goes straight through.
So you get to work with her for another
Absolutely.
what, 4 years, I think, there?
Yep.
Wonderful.
There's our 6-year terms.
6-year. Oh, really? 6-year
Yes.
term.
Yes.
So, and do they? I know I'm asking you questions you're probably not necessarily supposed to know, but do they run simultaneously, those judges, or they split? You know?
They run simultaneously.
They do. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, interesting. Lillian Donahue, I don't know much about her other than the little bit that she's worked through the chamber, but she seems like a nice lady.
Absolutely.
So regardless, it seems like you'll have a
good judge to work with.
to work with up
Yes,
there. So
yes.
that's wonderful. We're talking about the election. When is it? When's it end?
November 4th is the general.
The general. Okay.
Yes.
So, and they can go out there and vote now, or do they have to wait for the?
They have to wait for the general. We will have early voting for
Okay.
probably 2 weeks prior to that.
Okay.
So they'll have that option. And of course, don't forget the absentee ballot. You know, if you can't
Absolutely.
get out, please request an absentee ballot. Every vote counts.
That's wonderful. Well, we need to take another quick break here, and we'll be back with Sheila.
Court reporter with Stovall and Associates.